Good morning, Indy fans. It's Monday, the 19th of April 2021, and it's time for DaviePHD's Mythbusters, episode 31. Many things are said about Scotland, independence, the Union, the European Union, so in these videos I bust the myth that many people believe and are commonly peddled by those opposed to our independence. This week, I'm telling the tale of the 3 Tory Chancellors. I posted this image yesterday, and it's fair to say it's got a bit of response. Now, we've all heard that tired old argument that the broad shoulders of the UK economy keep Scotland afloat, that we're reliant on the benevolence and charity of the UK government to fund the Scottish government's crazy giveaways that Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP throw around like sweeties just to make them look good. There's just one problem with that argument. And yes, you've guessed it. That problem is that it's absolute bollocks. It is kinda true that under our current constitutional arrangement that Scotland doesn't raise enough in taxes to fund its government expenditure, as seen here in the 2018-19 figures. £62 billion in tax revenues is raised in Scotland but paid to Westminster. £32 billion was returned for spending on devolved competencies, which is legalese for Scottish Government spending, for which we have to return a fully accounted and balanced budget. £30 billion is retained by Westminster to be spent for and in the interest of Scotland by the UK Government. But the UK Government doesn't have to tell the Scottish Government how they spend that money, our money. But we know some of it is spent on Trident nuclear missiles, high-speed rail links between major English cities that already have decent rail links. Then the UK government claims to spend an additional £13 billion in Scotland, painting us as subsidy junkies, living off their charity. But this is easily debunked by just 2 economic improvements that should follow independence. First is oil and gas. Norway and Scotland, or the UK if you like, are both rich in oil and gas reserves. In the year 2018-19, both countries extracted a similar amount of oil and gas from their offshore fields. As any economist will tell you, it doesn't matter where oil is extracted, it's basically the same stuff, so it's sold for the same price on the same international markets to the same customers. Now just look at what the Norwegian government was able to collect in oil revenues compared to the UK government, selling a similar amount of the same stuff for the same price on the same international markets to the same customers. When you consider that 96% of UK oil and gas and 63% of UK natural gas reserves are in Scottish waters, you can see the difference independence could make to our tax take from the oil and gas sector. Second, and even bigger than the oil and gas, is a little closer to home. I took a look at my online banking app and the bills that I pay. My mortgage is paid to an English headquartered bank. My Sky TV is paid to an English headquartered company. My mobile phone bill is paid to an English headquartered company. My internet is paid to an English headquartered company. My car insurance is paid to an English headquartered company. Even going shopping, it is difficult to avoid English headquartered companies. If I shop in my local Asda, any taxes generated are attributed to an English headquartered company. If I shop in my local Morrisons, any taxes generated are attributed to an English headquartered company. If I shop in my local WH Smith, any taxes generated are attributed to an English headquartered company. The saddest thing in all of this, 2 supermarkets in my hometown owned by Johnny Foreigner, Lidl and Aldi, are the only 2 with actual Scottish subsidiary companies. Where any taxes generated are attributed to an actual Scottish headquartered company. And I challenge you all to take a look at your banking apps and statements and see if you can spot any Scottish-owned companies in receipt of your hard-earned cash. I reckon you'll find, as I did, that a vast amount of your Scottish earned and locally spent money is actually making Scotland look poorer in tax terms. Now, those are just two areas where we can improve our lot. There are more, many more. That's why, in 2019, former Tory Chancellor George Osborne said Scotland's departure would represent the end of the United Kingdom. The rest of the world would instantly see we were no longer a front-rank power, or even in the second row. In a warning to Tory leadership candidates in 2019, Philip Hammond, while still the Chancellor, said, "Scotland leaving the Union would deprive Britain's next leader of the money needed to fight austerity." And finally, as if two former Tory Chancellors saying similar things wasn't enough, how about a former Tory Chancellor who also served a term in the big job? Let's see what former Chancellor and Prime Minister Sir John Major had to say about the potential impact of Scots independence.
We'd find ourselves weakened in the IMF, we'd find ourselves weakened in the G8, the G20, in every international gathering that there is.
So folks, that's three ex-Tory Chancellors, all saying very similar things about the potential impact of Scotland's departure from the UK. And crucially, not one of them said it was going to be good for what remained of the UK. A wee reminder, perhaps? Depriving Britain's next leader of the money to fight austerity, the UK weakened in the IMF, weakened in the G8 and the G20, in every international gathering that there is, the UK no longer a front-ranked power, not even second row. None of those statements support the falsely promoted narrative that Scotland is a subsidised state dependent on handouts and reliant on the charity of our larger neighbour to the south. And there's a very good reason for that. It's because we aren't. If that falsely promoted narrative were indeed true, then surely losing a subsidy junkie charity case like we are made out to be would mean that our UK's fortunes would actually improve in the event of Scottish independence. Surely, if it was true, our UK would shoot right up the G8 with all that extra cash in its wallet. So why are they so desperate to keep us? Well, it's because all three ex-Tory Chancellors are right. It's not a position they promote a lot, but it is true. The UK don't want to keep Scotland around so they can look after us. They want to keep us around to look after them. Our UK just want to keep us around to preserve their status, to provide them with our money and our resources so they can still pretend to be a big player. If any unionist blogger out there sees this and thinks they know better than Philip Hammond, George Osborne and Sir John Major, then feel free to get back to us and tell us all why they are wrong. Scotland looks forward to a future as a small, successful, positive, outward-looking, independent nation. That future does not appeal to our UK with their obsession with power and status. But all empires fall. They all kick and scream on the way down. And we in Scotland will prove that despite their belief to the contrary, Britain is not exceptional. Their time is up. Make no mistake, the Tories are shitting bricks about us leaving. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out why. Folks, thanks for watching. Please feel free to share this video with anyone you like, especially undecided voters. DaviePHD.